The night Attila the Hun died, the earth did not tremble, and the sky did not tear itself apart. There was no heroic last stand, no blade buried in his chest on a battlefield slick with blood. Instead, the man who had made emperors kneel and cities burn was found lifeless on silk sheets, his body still warm, his face darkened, his nose bleeding as if the violence he had unleashed upon the world had finally turned inward. The terror of Europe, the Scourge of God, silenced not by an enemy's sword, but by the fragile machinery of his own flesh. And if this story grips you, if you feel history tightening its cold fingers around your spine, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. These stories survive only because we choose to remember them. To understand the weight of that quiet death, you have to step into a world that no longer exists, a world of wind-scoured plains and iron discipline, where survival was earned through cruelty and speed. Attila the Hun was born into the Hunnic elite sometime in the early 5th century, when the Roman world was already cracking under its own weight. The air he breathed as a child smelled of horse sweat, leather, and smoke. He grew up in the saddle, his legs bowed, his hands hardened around reins and weapons. Among the Huns, tenderness was a weakness, and mercy was an indulgence few could afford. From an early age, Attila learned that power came not from walls or laws, but from fear, and fear could be taught. When Attila rose to power alongside his brother Bleda, the world beyond the steppe barely understood what was coming. Roman diplomats described the Huns with a mixture of fascination and horror, focusing on their scars, their flattened noses, their raw, unsettling presence. These were not men shaped by marble cities and philosophy, but by endless movement and war. After Bleda's mysterious death, widely believed by historians to have been orchestrated by Attila himself, there was no longer any balance. Power settled into one pair of hands, and those hands tightened into a fist around Europe's throat. The sound of a Hunnic army approaching was said to come before the sight of it. Hooves thundered like an oncoming storm, arrows whistled through the air in dark clouds, and villages learned too late that walls offered no protection against an enemy that did not fight by the old rules. Attila did not simply conquer, he annihilated. Cities that resisted were erased, their names reduced to ash and rumor. Survivors spoke of fires so intense that the night glowed orange, of screams drowned out by collapsing roofs, of the smell of burning flesh clinging to the wind long after the Huns had moved on. Yet Attila was not a mindless brute, despite how Roman writers prefer to portray him. He understood politics as well as terror. He negotiated treaties, demanded tributes in gold, and humiliated emperors by forcing them to pay for peace that never truly came. In Constantinople and Ravenna, officials trembled as they calculated how much gold might buy another year of survival. The Eastern Roman Empire paid dearly to keep him at bay, while the West bled, its defenses thin, its authority hollow. One of the most haunting episodes of Attila's life unfolded in Italy, when his forces marched south, leaving devastation in their wake. Refugees clogged the roads, carrying what little they could, their eyes hollow with dread. According to later tradition, it was Pope Leo I who met Attila and convinced him to turn back from Rome itself. Whether divine visions, strategic calculation, or disease in the ranks stopped the Huns remains debated by historians. What matters is the fear that moment crystallized, the sense that the fate of civilization rested on the whims of a single man. Inside Attila's own court, life was no less severe. Despite the rivers of gold flowing into his treasury, he was known for austere tastes. While his warriors drank from silver and gold, Attila used a simple wooden cup. Some saw this as virtue, others as calculated theater, a way to project strength and discipline. His harem, filled with women taken from conquered lands, was a quiet testament to his power. Their lives were woven into the fabric of conquest, their personal tragedies swallowed by history, their voices rarely recorded except as footnotes to a conqueror's legend. Then came the wedding. In 453, Attila married a young woman named Ildiko, described in sources as beautiful and possibly of Germanic origin. The celebration was lavish, soaked in wine and excess. Music echoed through the camp, laughter mingling with the crackle of torches. For one night, the warlord allowed himself indulgence. By morning, he was dead. Some chroniclers claimed he suffered a violent nosebleed, choking on his own blood after drinking too much. Others whispered darker possibilities, hinting at murder, though no proof ever surfaced. The truth slipped away with him, leaving only speculation and the unsettling irony of such an end. His funeral, however, was anything but quiet. According to legend, the Huns mourned with wild, ritualistic grief, slashing their faces so that a great warrior would be lamented not with tears, but with blood. Attila was buried in triple coffins of gold, silver, and iron, symbolizing the wealth and terror he commanded. Those who buried him were allegedly killed to keep the grave's location secret. Even in death, Attila inspired fear, his resting place swallowed by the earth, never to be found. With Attila gone, the empire he built collapsed with stunning speed. His sons fought among themselves, lacking his authority and ferocity. Subject peoples rebelled. The storm that had terrified Europe dissipated, leaving behind scarred landscapes and broken societies. Yet the damage was done. Cities never fully recovered. Populations were displaced. The Roman world, already fragile, stumbled closer to its end. Centuries later, Attila's name still carries a particular chill. In some traditions, he became a demon, a symbol of divine punishment. In others, especially among certain Eastern European cultures, he was remembered as a strong ruler, even a hero. History does not offer a single verdict. It rarely does. What remains undeniable is the human cost of his ambition. Behind every burned village and shattered wall were lives interrupted, futures erased, suffering that echoed long after the hooves faded into the distance. Standing at the edge of his story, we are forced to confront uncomfortable questions. Was Attila merely a product of his time, shaped by a brutal world that rewarded violence? Or did he choose terror as a tool, understanding exactly what it would buy him? Power, as his life shows, is intoxicating, but it is also fragile. It can dominate continents and still be undone by a single night, a single breath that does not come back. The legacy of Attila the Hun is not just written in chronicles and legends. It lingers in the ruins, in the myths whispered to frighten children, in the reminder that civilizations can crumble when fear is allowed to rule unchecked. His story is a mirror held up to humanity, reflecting both our capacity for destruction and our strange fascination with those who wield it without restraint. And as long as we tell these stories, as long as we listen to the echoes of hoofbeats across the plains of history, the silence of that final night will never truly be complete.